everybody in person for being here. I had not got to the front two rows, so I promise you, if you're not in a rush to leave, I really would like the opportunity to walk by and thank everybody in person. So at the end of the show, if you're in the first two rows of cars, at least please, if you have time, I am going to come talk to you guys, one at a time, and just thank you guys so much. It really means the world to me. I guess I should introduce myself. I am Little Ray, everybody, from Little Ray's Nature Center and Little Ray's Foundation for Animal Rescue and Education. I'm extremely privileged to be here. I would lie if I told you this isn't a little bit emotional for me to be here right now. We've had this massive outcry of public support. People know that COVID-19 has certainly affected not just us, but many businesses adversely, and all businesses have unique challenges, and we certainly have had very unique challenges having to care for the animals. All in a time where we were expanding and growing and trying to get this facility open. The great news is, and I hope everybody can give themselves a big round of applause, we're well over halfway to the goal that we're trying to reach through our donor box campaign and our GoFundMe page. So guys, everyone, please give yourselves a big round of applause. I know a lot of people have supported that. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. And even just being here today, and I've been stressing to people, there have been a lot of people who even, kids making a $5 donation a month from their allowance. And, that's not just about feeding a gecko for 10 days. For myself and for my wife and our entire team that works so hard, just illustrates, for us emotionally, it means the world to us. People being here today, you guys are literally saving animals by being here. I think everybody knows this. We are the largest exotic animal rescue in Canada, and potentially one of the largest in North America. We don't know any that are bigger, but it's hard to say without having all the facts, but we're certainly one of the largest. Many of the animals that we have, we are truly a last resort for these animals, and certainly we've had some stress tests at this time. And the good news is, I promise you guys that I'll never stop fighting. We are working with the federal government right now, just to be transparent. I believe we're going to get the support we need. They're being inundated with applications, and I believe we're going to get the support. I know we're going to get the support. I know we're going to get through this. I'm very thankful for the programs that we are able to utilize, like the wage subsidy program that's happening. We were able to get the initial SEBA payment that businesses got, and albeit a very small amount, all of those dollars, including their donations, have helped us get to where we are today. So again, I thank everybody very much. And I'm going to be talking after about a few programs that we do have that are coming up. You will see on the screen, we have a donor box campaign. We also have GoFundMe. Whether you've donated to our donor box campaign or GoFundMe, you can now actually become like an official donor or supporter of Little Ray's Foundation for Animal Rescue and Education. That is our nonprofit. The zoo in Ottawa is being run under that nonprofit umbrella. All of the programs in Ottawa, schools, daycares, birthday parties, all that stuff that people know that we do, that's all being run under that umbrella. And for anybody who makes a donation, an annual donation or a monthly donation, you're actually going to be part of almost a donor club, if we can call it that. There's going to be discounts on all events that we put on. There's going to be a monthly newsletter, quarterly kind of VIP video type things and other events that these people are going to get invited to. So please watch for that. A donor box is really easy to make monthly contributions. And again, $5 a month right now makes a huge difference to us. It really helps out. And obviously you can make a one-time contribution as well, and I know a lot of people here have already done that, so thank you again. I do have a couple of announcements, and I'm going to ask my good friends Kyle, Janine, Natalie, and Lee to come up on the stage, because in spite of all of the things we're going through, we are really looking at the future and how we really secure the future of Little Ray's Nature Center and Little Ray's Foundation for Animal Rescue and Education. And as a lot of people know, if you didn't know before, I think a lot of people don't realize that we actually do stuff right across North America through museums, and it's what I spend the majority of our time doing. This year is Lee and Natalie, and Lee is actually our zoo director in Ottawa. And if you used to come to the zoo all the time, you'd often see myself and my wife there, and Lee and Natalie, not that they're replacing us, in any way, shape, or form. They're doing a much better job than we ever did. But Lee and Natalie are the ones that are basically in charge of the care and maintenance of the animals. So when we tell people that our animals have received the exact same care from the beginning, regardless of how much our vet has been coming and working with a very dedicated animal care team, it's actually Lee and Natalie that are in charge of the health and welfare of all of those animals in our building. And if you guys could give them a big round of applause or honk your horns for them, it would be great. If you guys are on our Facebook page, if you watch us on Facebook, the Facebook Live, you're seeing Lee and Natalie most of the time. Honk your horn if you've seen Lee and Natalie on Facebook Live. I think what's amazing about this, I have never met a person better at faking a South African accent in my life. Like, Lee can nail a South African accent, and he never comes out of character. You can be in his house, like, having lunch, and he still makes himself sound like a South African. I don't know how he does it. Over to my right, some people may know who Kyle and Janine are. They may know him from years ago working for us. Kyle and Janine both worked at Little Rays Nature Center for years. They went off and started to do their own thing about 4 years ago. And we have remained friends. They have started a company called The Keepers, Meet the Keepers. And some of you may have heard of them already. They do shows much like us, birthday parties, schools, daycares. I've never really felt like we were competing against them. There's always room for quality educational programming. But with some of the limitations with COVID-19, Kyle and Janine and I last summer met and talked about how could we kind of amalgamate into one space so there's not twice as much rent and everything else. Well, our outreach program, where Lee and Natalie are overseeing the zoo, effective August 1st, Kyle and Janine are actually, the Keepers are kind of being amalgamated in with Little Rays Foundation for Animal Rescue and Education, our nonprofit division. So our outreach programs are actually going to be managed by Kyle and Janine. They're going to have direct oversight for it. They're going to be running those programs. All of our staff are just going to be amalgamated for those programs. And I can assure you this is going to make the programs even better than they've ever been. It's going to have its own oversight, and they're going to be taking control of that with Little Rays Foundation for Animal Rescue and Education. And I want you guys to please give them a round of applause, and if you guys can help me more on this. So these are our kind of big announcements at this point in time. And without further ado, you guys want to see some animals? All right, we're going to make this happen, everybody. So thank you guys. Kyle, Janine, Lee, and Natalie are going to be coming around. There's a few rows that were VIP rows, and I think the crowd's small enough that everyone's going to have a really good look. They're going to be coming around with some animals. But the first animal I'm going to start with is we only have one of them here with us today. And I was going to bring him on halfway through. However, because there's only one and he's not very big, and many of you have seen this, we want to make sure that this animal gets around to all the cars, everybody. And Kevin Bass, where are you? Kevin Bass, you're going to be walking around with them. There's a lady in a white pickup truck right back there that really wants you to put this spider on her window. And if she seems to be really paranoid and is trying to get you to move backwards, she's just kidding. She wants you to put the spider right on her window. White Ford pickup truck right back there. Anyways, everybody, hopefully you guys can see this okay. And but we are going to actually bring it down and walk around the car so you guys can see him. But this here's Rosie. Everybody say hi, Rosie. And Rosie, everybody, is a Chilean rose-haired tarantula. And I'm like, look, it's going to be hard to bring a tarantula to a show where I'm on a stage and people are 150, 200 feet away. But I'm like, hey, we got the big screen, and if nothing else, maybe, I just noticed the camera doesn't follow me, so I'll try to stay in the middle. I walk a lot. We have to bring a tarantula. I think it's, of all the animals we've ever utilized in educational programs, tarantulas are probably the one animal that we get the most requests for to hold. And what's really interesting for Sherry and I is we watched this wonderful thing that we created evolve. I remember back in 1995, if you did not know, Little Rays Reptile Adventure was founded in Queenswood Heights in Orleans in 1995. That's a long time ago where we started doing educational programs and actually as a business. I did my first show with a few animals I had back in 1998. I was going to Cream Wilson High School and Gloucester High School, and I had a few pets, and I wanted to get experience to be a teacher, and I wanted to go to Teachers College, if you did not know this. And this is how this all happened. So I started talking to kids about animals so that I could get experience for my Teachers College resume. And indeed, I did get accepted into concurrent education, but the whole teaching thing never ever happened, because by the time I was done university, so many people were asking me to bring animals and talk to people. The Humane Society in Ottawa started to call me and say, look, we get all these animals dropped off, and we can't care for them. And we started helping the Humane Society in Ottawa. By probably 2001, we were helping most of the SPCAs and Humane Societies in Ontario and at least Western Quebec. And probably by 2006, we were helping the Humane Societies and SPCA right across Canada and other federal authorities with the placement of animals. But getting back to Rosie, when we first started doing programs in the 90s and even early 2000s, we would show up at places and we would take out a tarantula and everybody would back up. There'd be 50, 60, 70, 80 people there, and I would say, who wants to hold it? And this is, I think, one of my fondest memories of really understanding how we can really impact people, is that I would say, do you want to hold the tarantula? And there would be 80 people that would simultaneously take 2 steps back. And it's probably one of the most misunderstood animals we ever worked with. And over the years, we've reached a point now where I'm walking around talking to cars and kids are asking me, do you have a tarantula here? If we take out a tarantula in public now, people don't step backwards. Even young people today will step forward and they all put their hands out. So I think about how children just being exposed to animals. You know, before when people weren't running programs like this, you know, kids just never understood, like, TV wasn't enough to get rid of that stigma. And the second people started to touch them, hold them in a safe, controlled fashion, all of a sudden the idea of spiders wasn't so bad. Now we get pictures on a regular basis sent to us at the zoo of children who are picking up spiders in their gardens. The concept of killing a spider because you don't like them has really gone away. And it really shows the impact of being able to be exposed to animals. Rose-haired tarantulas come from South America. They're found in Chile, in South America. Chilean rose-haired tarantula makes sense. Are tarantulas venomous? Yes or no? Just yell out the answer. Yes, they are venomous. And the problem with the word venom is when I say the word venom, most people think bad. You guys think it's dangerous. Hey, all spiders are venomous. If you have a spider in your car right now, that animal is venomous. Does that mean it's dangerous? Yes or no? No. Bees are venomous. Yes, if you have an allergy to bees, that would be bad. A bee would be dangerous to you. But to the general public, bees are not dangerous, everybody. It would hurt if you get stung. If a tarantula bites you, it will hurt. But I will tell you, there has never, not once, ever been a documented case of a person being bitten and killed by a tarantula. It has never happened. Not once in the world. They are not the animals that they were once made out to be. They're actually quite gentle, and as long as you treat them with respect, they have no reason to harm you. Let's give Rosie a big round of applause, everybody. Guys, I'm going to give, the next animal I have is a lizard. I'm going to give this animal, just because he's so small, Kevin is going to come around and he's just going to slowly walk by. So hopefully you guys can listen to me while he's walking by your car with the tarantula. Kevin is going to come by with the tarantula so everybody has an opportunity to have a close look at the tarantula. Now the next animal we have is another animal that is not a huge animal, but a very common animal. It's probably the only animal we have here that you could commonly see as a pet. And this here is Spike. Everyone say, hey Spike. And Spike, everybody, is a bearded dragon. Now, Lee, Natalie, Kyle, and Janine are going to be taking out some bearded dragons. And while I'm talking to you about this one, because we have enough of them, they're going to be walking around so you guys have a kind of up close and personal of a bearded dragon. Now, bearded dragons are a type of lizard. They do come from Australia, and they are an omnivore. And when we say an animal's an omnivore, well, there's a few different ways we define animals. We define animals as an insectivore, which means they primarily eat insects, a herbivore that eats exclusively plants, fruits, vegetables, leafy greens, carnivores that eat only meat, and omnivores that will eat both plants and meat. I want you guys to honk your horn if you eat meat. How many people eat meat? How many people eat fruits and vegetables? Honk your horn. Alright. So you guys, much like Spike, you guys are omnivores. So everybody as loud as you can say, I'm an omnivore. So much like Spike, you guys are omnivores. You eat fruits and vegetables, and you also eat meat. He eats bugs and stuff, but he will eat smaller lizards, small vertebrates, and he does eat leafy greens. He does come from Australia. I was saying that before, and this might be really hard to see, but there are two really important features if you ever look at a lizard. One is the hole on the side of their head. Lizards have a very defined hole, and if you ever catch a frog's hole on the side of his head looks the same. He has this little layer of skin on the side of his head. He has that. If you see a frog this summer, it's the same thing. And that piece of skin is called a tympanum, or a tympanic membrane. What is it, guys? What is that hole on the side of their head? If you know the answer, just yell it out. That's his ears. And that's his external ear opening. And it is a really important feature if we're talking about a lizard. The other thing, it's going to be hard for you guys to see, but if we touch Spike around his eye, he's going to blink. Spike has eyelids, everybody. And these are two really important features if we're ever talking about an animal. Now, I would not be doing this wonderful animal any justice if we did not talk about responsible pet ownership for a second. I talked to at least one person who said their friend has a snake. I talked to somebody else who said they have a pet snake who's here. And animals can make wonderful pets. First and foremost, bearded dragons are bred in human care. These animals are not taken from the wild. Should we take animals from the wild so they can be kept as a pet? Yes or no? Absolutely not. And I'm always super proud to tell people that even at Little Ray's Nature Center and Little Ray's Foundation for Animal Rescue and Education, 100% of the animals that we receive that can be rehabilitated and brought back to the wild where they came from happens 100% of the time. It's very hard to do this. It's not like we could send an animal from Canada to Venezuela. That's illegal. Nobody allows you to do that. But local animals that get dropped off that people have taken out of the wild, we make sure that those animals all go back whenever it's possible. And if you are going to buy an animal as a pet, how long do you have to take care of it for? Forever. Its entire life. So if you're going to buy an animal as a pet, what kind of things do you need to know? How big does it get is fairly important. Okay, this guy's a reasonable size, but he still needs a fairly large habitat. What does it eat? How does it take care of? And sometimes with reptiles, I think the most important question is how long does it live? Because even today I'll often see small turtles being sold in pet stores. And if there's one issue I always have when I walk into a pet store and I try to talk to them about it, is, look, if somebody wants a turtle as a pet, there's enough turtles in human care right now that somebody can adopt or foster one that needs a home. We get calls every single week for people who have turtles. The problem with those little turtles you buy in a pet store, everybody, please don't buy them. They live 60 to 80 years. And if you're buying an animal as a pet, you're telling me that you can care for it its entire life. How many people here think that they could take care of a turtle for 80 years? They just simply live too long, and they don't make necessarily the best pet. So please, guys, if it's a dog, a cat, a hamster, know what they need to eat, know how big they get, and most importantly, please make sure you know how long they live. A huge factor. But let's all give Spike a big round of applause, everybody. Now, the next animal I have is a Canadian animal, everybody. And this next animal is a wonderful Canadian animal. Thank you. I have ADD so bad, and I'm trying to stay in the middle of the stage, and Alex just reminded me to stay in the middle of the stage. Maybe if someone just throws something at me every time I move out of the stage. What's that?
There's tape on the ground.
Is there tape? Oh, there we go. Perfect. Thanks, Richard. Everyone, this here is lightning. Everyone say, hi, lightning. And does anyone know what lightning is? Lightning is not just a Canadian animal. It's found in Ontario. Anyone know what he is? A garden snake is an excellent guess. It is not a traditional garden snake that you would have here. Sorry, stay in the middle. Lightning, everybody, is a snake called a black rat snake. 2 guesses why it's called a black rat snake. 1, what color is he? 2, what does he eat? Really easy to remember. And I will tell you, black rat snakes are pretty resourceful. They will eat small eggs from birds. They will also eat birds. They'll eat salamanders, they'll eat frogs, and they will eat fish. But black rat snakes, everybody, are found in southern Ontario around the Frontenac region. You can find them at Murphy's Point Provincial Park, Charleston Lake, around Kingston you can find them. And there's a population of them in southwest Ontario. Unfortunately, the population that's south and near here is considered to be threatened, and the population in southwestern Ontario is classified as being endangered right now. And that word endangered, is that a good word or a bad word, everybody? It's a very bad word, but it's not as bad as the word extinct. So as much as black rat snakes are having some trouble right now, there's a lot of great work being done to protect them, and people are now taking much more interest in protecting snakes like black rat snakes, everybody. And there are a lot of programs happening to make sure that their habitat where they live is being protected. Now, as much as lightning is not very big right now, a few of the black rat snakes coming around are larger than lightning. The current Canadian record for a black rat snake is almost 8.5 feet long. So from about the tip of my fingers right down to the ground. That's probably only about, I don't know, maybe 7.5 feet. So a little bit past that, everybody. And it is actually the longest species of reptile that we have living in Canada. Hey, you remember I showed you the ears and the eyelids on the lizard? That's important. Because the largest group of reptiles in the world are snakes and lizards. They're called squamates. They're very closely related. And what is the difference between snakes and lizards? There is something that lizards have that snakes don't have. What do they have? If you know the answer, yell it out. Legs. So many people today still say legs. Everyone, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If you live in North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Indonesia, or Australia, if you live anywhere in the world, any continent in the world except for Antarctica, there are literally dozens of species of lizards called legless lizards. What don't legless lizards have? There are literally lizards around the world that do not have legs. So you cannot say the difference between a snake and a lizard is lizards have legs, because there are lizards that look just like this. The 2 easiest things to notice is that snakes do not have external ear openings. Snakes are actually deaf. They cannot hear. If you happen to be camping at Murphy's Point Provincial Park and somebody sees a snake and they're afraid and they start yelling, "You snakey, shoo! Shoo! Go away!" You can just go up there and be like, "Ma'am, the snake is deaf and you're scaring the other campers." They cannot hear you. They cannot pick up airborne vibrations. They do have an internal ear like us that they use for balance, so that they can, if their bottom jaw is on the ground, they can pick up vibrations in the ground, everybody. They can pick up vibrations in the ground through their bottom jaw, but they cannot pick up airborne vibrations. The other thing is that they do not have eyelids. Snakes won't blink. I often hear, yeah, have a staring contest with a snake. Well, when they're sleeping, they'll be sleeping there looking at you, but they're not really looking at you because they're asleep and their eyes are open. And it makes sense. Snakes evolved to spend their day on the belly with their face, back in the middle, face on the ground. They do not have external eyelids, everybody. Let's give Lightning a big round of applause, you guys. Okay, I think the next animal we have, so that's a snake. I have 4 more animals to show you, and the next animal we have, I think is going to be like a mystery now, because Alex is like, oh my gosh, I forgot to get the next animal. He ran over to the van and he probably grabbed the first thing, which is fine, which is great.
What other announcements do we have?
What other announcements do we have? I can't remember, Shane.
New donor program?
Oh, I talked about the donor program. While I'm waiting for Alex, we talked about the donor program.
Did you talk about the Sundays people can get?
The Sundays. Oh my gosh, there's Sundays. How did I forget that, Jennifer? The wonderful people at JoJo's. JoJo's are the ones with the food, everybody. You maybe saw it online. You can
they can get it on the app where they bought the tickets.
The app where you bought the tickets. If you guys want a Sunday, I'm so sorry. I feel really terrible right now because they've been kind enough to be here. You can actually order Sundays, and it's like a $5 update.
$5, and then they can also get crickets.
And you can also get crickets. You can add crickets to your order. You don't actually eat the crickets, everybody, but you can actually set up to spend $5, and you're basically buying crickets to feed an animal for anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks. You don't have to eat the crickets. If anybody actually wants to eat a cricket, you come see me. We'll do this for you. Just while I'm waiting for the next animal too, a lot of people have asked about the zoo and if we're open. Right now we are not open to the public. And many of you have been to the zoo before. You know what it was like down on Bank Street with that presentation room. Imagine with the limitations we have right now, we just can't operate that way. We can't open to the public, even if our new nature center was ready. The renovation happened, COVID-19 happened right at the end of the renovation. The good news is that we are open to private groups, and up to 4 families at a time. You control those families. I know people have their bubble families that they're kind of hanging out with right now. So you can actually book a private tour of the group. You can go to info@lrnc.ca. You just go on our website. You can email us, everybody, and you can book a private tour of the group. And we are starting to go back out into the community, like backyard events. We're not going in people's homes, but we are doing backyard barbecues. We are doing birthday parties again. We can actually go to people's homes and do birthday party events in their backyard. Right now, nobody is touching the animals, and we're respecting all social distancing kind of rules from our staff and your guys's. But it's still a really cool event that we're doing. We're going to summer camps again, so that's really exciting for us. And so things that we have done that people traditionally knew in Ottawa, we are starting to return to that stuff. And again, private tours, you guys control the families that kind of come with you. And we're hoping as we roll out of this, we'll get the finishing touches on the zoo done in time for us to be able to fully open to the public. As much as we'd love to be open to the public, I know if you've been there in the past, you know, it's so intimate and everyone's so close together, it's just impossible for us to control it in this environment. Oh my goodness, it's Flash. Everybody, this is actually Flash, and I got a little poop on my hands right now because Flash pooped. So, everybody, this here is Flash. Everybody say, hi, Flash. And I did not ask them to bring this animal. This animal was randomly just kind of selected to be brought, but I recognize her, and I will forever recognize her my entire life, as much as we probably have about 20 red-footed tortoises, everybody. Flash, the tortoise I'm holding right now, in April 15th, 1995, we did our first official program as a business, Little Ray's Reptile Adventure, and we did it at a school in Barrhaven. And Flash was about 2 years old at the time. Literally the first show we ever did under Little Ray's Nature Center or Little Ray's Reptile Adventure, Flash was actually at that show. So we should give her a big round of applause because she has probably done more educational programs than any other tortoise living in North America. Everybody, Flash is a red-footed tortoise, called that for obvious reasons. Her feet have these little red scales. She is a South American tortoise. Full grown, she can get about twice this size. If we do some simple math, we think she's about 27 years old right now, and it is reasonable that Flash can live about 100 to 120 years. There's a tortoise that passed away about 5 years ago in England that Charles Darwin brought back from the Galapagos Islands as a young adult, not a baby, as a young adult in 1836. And that tortoise was estimated to be over 200 years of age. And as much as they're wonderful animals, again, this is an animal that if anybody is ever interested in ever having a tortoise, please, 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 reach out to a rescue organization and see if you could adopt one or foster one for a period of time. Because the reality is that that animal, if you take care of it, is going to outgrow you. Now, a couple things I want to show you about tortoises. This is really important. And this actually, first part applies for all turtles and tortoises. There are two parts of a turtle or a tortoise. Oh, she's peeing. How many people can see that? Look at that. Most people have to go all the way to South America to see a tortoise like this pee. So you guys just got huge value. I saved you a bunch of plane tickets. Anyways, two parts of a tortoise's shell. The cap on their back is called the carapace, and the plate on their belly is called the plastron. And as much as I can't let you guys touch the tortoises right now, you guys can experience what they feel like. Because if you touch the shell of a turtle or a tortoise, if you touch your fingernails, everyone touch your fingernails, and touch your hair, because the shells of turtles and tortoises, your fingernails and your hair, albeit your hair is a little different, is all made from the exact same material. It's all made from a material he just pooped right in my hand. That is amazing, everybody. I don't know if everybody wants to see this or not, but at least for the people online, like that is literally, he literally just pooped in my hand. I don't think she's very, I think she's trying to be funny is what she's trying to do. I might need some paper towel if anybody has any, which would be great if somebody has some. I'm sure we have some in the van, but anyways, everybody, she is a tortoise, and your fingernails and your hair, all scales on reptiles. If you guys are curious, I'm gonna just put that in my gram right here. I'll take care of that. It just feels weird. All turtles and tortoises, all scales on reptiles, their shells, your fingernails, your hair, things like rhinoceroses on horns, are all made of the exact same material. So if you want to know what she feels like, simply touch your fingernail. And the other thing I always like to show people is their foot. If you look at their back foot, tortoises, true tortoises, have feet that look almost like elephants' feet, and that's important. Let's give Flash a big round of applause, everybody. I'm going to hop down here, and I'm going to go down on the grass at least and wash my hands. That's okay. You guys, here, I'm just going to go to the grass. The grass is wet. It's okay. Yeah. I don't know if that newspaper is really going to do what I need it to do. So give me 1 sec here, everybody. 1 second, you guys. Got like a little cleanup back here on the grass. And I'm going to get some Purell afterwards. All right. I tell you, there we go. I'll take this now. Thank you. I tell you, working with animals, people are like, what's it like to work with animals? Like, what is that like? And I'm always like, well, you get pooped on a lot. That's what it's like. It's almost like being a mom or dad, right? Like when you get like, how many times, moms, like how many times have you been pooped on in your life? Like seriously. Oh, you have some of those. Yeah, they would actually help greatly, Jennifer. Thank you. Yeah. It's like being a mom or dad. For those who do not know, I'm a father. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer, actually, give Jennifer a big round of applause, everyone. She helped us with all the marketing for this event and stuff, so thank you, Jennifer. Everybody, if you do not realize this, I am a father. I know many of you know this, and I actually have 9-year-old triplets, everyone. If you did not know this, I am the father of 9-year-old triplets, and I always tell people that you know, we're like, how did this happen? And if you really think about it, it makes sense. Like, my wife and I have completely dedicated our lives to animals, and we have spent so much time with animals that my wife actually had a litter. So it does really, it does make complete sense, but it's certainly very fun. being the father of triplets, and I'd like to tell you that they never pooped on me, but moms and dads, you know, if you have kids, they're going to poop on you. So, alright, without further ado, I have a few more animals left to show you guys. And this next animal is maybe one of my all-time favorite reptiles growing up in Ontario. And I say growing up in Ontario, I've actually lived in Ontario since I was 9. And I grew up in the Northwest Territories. So I was born in a small town called Hay River. And I spent most of my childhood in Yellowknife. And when I was 9 years old, we moved to Ontario. And as a young kid, I was a dinosaur fanatic. And growing up in Yellowknife, as much as I loved reptiles, I loved dinosaurs, we only had like wood frogs up there. We didn't even have a snake in the part of the NWT that I was growing up in. So when I came down to southern Ontario, I remember seeing my very first snapping turtle and being like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. And it lives like right here in this lake. And to me, snapping turtles were like this modern day dinosaur. And I loved everything about them. And this wonderful turtle, everybody, is a common snapping turtle. This is the same type of snapping turtle that we have in southern Ontario, southeastern Canada. And they're actually found from southeastern Canada down the east coast of the United States, into the Gulf of Mexico, down the east side of Mexico, down right around Nicaragua and Panama. They're found across Nicaragua and Panama, and they're actually found in the northwestern side of South America. So you can find them in Ecuador and Peru, everyone. And I think it's unbelievable that the species of turtle that we have living right here in Canada can survive in all of those different habitats. They can survive in Central America. These are highly, highly adaptable animals. Now, how many people have seen turtles crossing the road? I know most of you guys do, and especially this summer and in the spring. This is the time we see them. Are those the boy turtles or the girl turtles crossing the road? Which turtles are crossing the road, everybody? It's the girls. And the girls are going to cross the road to lay their eggs. Now, loss of habitat has really, really, really hurt turtles. And now, if you live around water, I actually live in Chelsea, Quebec. And the laws right now in places like Chelsea, Quebec and Ottawa, where people used to be able to build houses right on the river, take out all the trees, or right on the lake, take out all the trees and make a nice beach and stuff. You're really not allowed to do that anymore. And one of the reasons is because animals like snapping turtles actually use a lot of that area, and it's part of their environment. So we're doing a lot more things to protect the environment for these animals. But if you did not know this, every species of turtle we now have living in Canada, every single one, including painted turtles, are now classified as being at risk of extinction. It means that we don't have any turtles left in our country that are not in trouble. And a lot of them are in more trouble than others. And there is something every person here can do. Kids, I do not want you guys running out on the road to grab turtles, because there's cars out there. But moms and dads, when you are driving your car, if you see a turtle crossing the road, you need to stop your car. You need to move that turtle off the road, everybody. It is not just that turtle that you're saving, it is the mother turtles, the females that are laying the eggs. And even now, how many people think it's sad? Put your hand up. Do you think it's sad if you see a dead animal on the road? It doesn't matter what it is. If I see a squirrel on the road, I think it's sad. If you see a dead turtle on the road, everybody, it is a catastrophe. Because the turtle you're seeing, it's the females that are making all of the babies. And they are by far the most important animals. Kids, this is important too. Your mom and dad are both really important. But your mom is way more important than your dad. The girls are by far the most important animal. It pains me to say this. And it does. And I want you guys to think about this. Kids, I think you all know this yourselves already. I know in my house, it was almost offensive. If my kids to this day need something, I could be sitting in the kitchen right beside them. And my wife could be upstairs in the bedroom, and they want something. And I'm like, Mom! And I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? I want to know. I want to know what time we're having lunch. No! And I'm like, I'm right here. I am an adult. I can help you with this. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, Mom is paying you guys. They really are. And with turtles and tortoises, everybody, I tell people, if you have 6 male tortoises or 6 male snapping turtles living in a swamp, and 1 female snapping turtle living in a swamp, how many female snapping turtles can have babies? Only 1. If you have 6 female snapping turtles living in a swamp and 1 male snapping turtle living in a swamp, how many female snapping turtles can have babies? All 6 of them can. Those female turtles that are crossing the road, everybody, please stop your car. Please help them across the road. Hey, one more really quick thing. I showed you the feet of the snapping turtle. If you look at the feet, or excuse me, of the red-footed tortoise, if you look at the feet of a snapping turtle, they do not look like elephants' feet. They look like paddles. Why do turtles' feet look like paddles? What do turtles do that tortoises really aren't that good at doing? What do turtles do? They swim. Turtles and tortoises are very closely related. And truthfully, tortoises are turtles. But when we say something really is a true turtle, we mean that they're really, really good swimmers. Flash will kind of paddle around. He can't really swim underneath the water. Some tortoises will sink, but most of them will just float on the surface and paddle around. But snapping turtles like this are super, super, super good swimmers. Hey, one more thing. I always forget to show you guys this. If a snapping turtle, I don't know if you guys can see this on the screen. Probably not, maybe. If a snapping turtle is crossing the road, as much as this one is very used to people, if you approach a snapping turtle, he will try to bite you. There's a reason for that. If you want to safely move a snapping turtle off the road, you simply come up behind them, and if you can grab them by their tail, please don't pick them up by their tail. They're really heavy, and you're going to hurt them. But you can literally just slide them off the road, or take the floor mat out of your car. And if you grab them by the tail, you can almost slide them onto the floor mat and then drag them off the road using their tail. And if you see them on the road, if they're going towards the forest, she knows where she's going. Put her in the forest. If she's moving towards a river, put her on the side of the river. Put her in the direction she's going. Give her a big round of applause, everyone. Thanks, Lee. The next animal we have is coming up, which is an awesome, awesome little crocodile. And so everyone knows, we did move. We were talking about that. We are in Sarsfield now, which is just east of Navan. And we moved from our original location in Ottawa on Bank Street, which is 5305 Bank Street, which is a wonderful home for us. But a lot of people don't realize this. Even when we were there, because of the number of rescued animals we had another 4,000 square foot building in Greeley. So we were able to amalgamate the two. The building we're in Sarsfield is 14,000 square feet between 2 buildings. And we really hope that people can get there. Again, right now, you can book a private tour there. Unfortunately, it has to be booked with groups of people that know each other. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing facility. Some of the habitats are absolutely incredible. And everybody, this here is Junior. Everybody say hi, Junior. And I know that our team is going to be bringing a few payments out for you guys. And it's quite wonderful to be here with this animal, everybody. Junior is a young Cuvier's dwarf caiman. And when I say it's a caiman, so many people are like, well, hang on, is that an alligator or a crocodile? Well, technically, there are 23 species of crocodilians in the world. I think it's actually 24. I think they're just separated into another Nile crocodile. Small detail. But there are 23 species, really, of crocodiles in the world. 14 of them are real crocodiles. There are 6 species of caimans, 2 types of alligators. Caimans are related, closely related to alligators, and 1 animal called a gharial. And a gharial looks like a crocodile with a long, skinny nose that comes from India. We're really working on one thing right now that is kind of important to me. In optics, are important. I know anyone who's seen our program, whether it's a birthday party in someone's backyard, or if it's a school program, you come to the zoo. We always keep their mouths shut in those environments. But you'll see as we walk around, as they walk around and you see some of these animals up close, I want you to count how many times you see these animals trying to bite us, even though their mouth is not taped shut. And I'm not even restraining this guy's neck. He's just kind of sitting here, everybody, comfortably. And when we tape their mouth shut, and I think moving forward, we're really going to try to get like some plexiglass tables or something. The problem with crocodilians is they can bite really hard. And even a caiman at this size would have no problems breaking a small finger, and combine that with their teeth, it would be really bad. And if we have a caiman out around a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, and a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and we're trying to control the crowd, comes up and grabs them by their foot and yanks them on their foot, and the caiman bites the 3-year-old, what is going to be on the cover of the paper? Caiman attacks 3-year-old, or vicious 3-year-old attacks caiman. What's going to make the newspaper? So obviously, this is not an option for us, but the optics of it, it looks bad. Because it gives people the impression that these are mean, aggressive animals, and they are not. They are actually very easy to train. They're the only reptiles that are truly social the way you guys think reptiles are social. They're the only reptiles that actually have a language. They talk to each other. Oh, he doesn't like you at all. What's going on? You know, what's wrong? Maybe he doesn't like girls, shouldn't he? I don't know what's going on. But anyways, he's wiggling a little bit. But sometimes that's just comfort with them, guys. And actually, they do get used to people. So they tend to know people. So our crocodilians will actually recognize people. They know people. They know who you are. So they do have to get used to people. It's almost like having a dog in your house. They can learn their names, and we can teach them tricks. Many of you guys have seen Lady Chomps-a-Lot, our 3-legged alligator at the zoo. We can make her stop, stay, and we can make her open her mouth on command. Now, one other really cool thing is they're walking around with the crocodilians when you look at them. Lots of people say that all reptiles have scales. You can say that crocodilians have scaly skin, but they do not have scales the way a snake or a lizard does. When you look at their back, when you touch them, everybody touch your hand or touch your arm. Everyone touch your hand or your arm. This is skin. This animal is covered in skin. The plates you see on their back are not scales. These are bones that they have growing between their layers of skin. And crocodilians are the only animals in the world that grow bones in between their layers of skin. Some monitors will grow them right under their skin. Crocodilians literally grow this bone armor inside, in between their layers of skin. They still have a skeleton like we do. They still have a backbone and ribs and bones in their arms and their feet and their toes, and they have a skull just like we do. But they're the only animals that grow bone like that for armor inside their skin. Everybody, unbelievable animals. Cuvier's dwarf caimans are actually the smallest crocodilian in the world. They're found in the northern parts of the South American rainforest. And full grown, they're only about 1.4. They're about 3 to 4 feet long, which is about a meter to about 1.2, 1.3 meters is the average size, full grown. And they might weigh 15 to 30 kilograms, so about 35 to 66 pounds when they're full grown. Let's all give Junior here and these other caimans a big round of applause, you guys. Thank you. All right, Junior. Awesome. Guys, I got one more animal to show you guys. And I told everybody it was going to be a 45-minute show, or about a 40-minute show, and we're already at like 55 minutes. I hope you don't mind it going over. And a little bit more time. Turned out to be a gorgeous day for this, I think. And oh my gosh, I'm getting too old to pick these guys up. But this guy, everyone, wouldn't be a proper show if we did not have a large snake. and everyone, of all the large snakes, if you're going to bring a big snake, everybody, we really should bring the biggest snake in the world, everybody. This here is Handsome. Everybody say, hey, Handsome. And Handsome, everybody, is a reticulated python. Reticulated pythons do come from Southeast Asia, Indonesia, and they are the current world record holders for snakes. If anybody has the Guinness Book of World Records, if you look at the current record for reticulated pythons, it is 10 meters long, 32 feet, 9 inches. So without having a measuring tape, I would say 8, 12, 20, that's about 26. It would be from that far railing over there to about where I'm standing. Now, a lot of people, even though it's in the Guinness Book of World Records, do not believe that's actually accurate, and they think somewhere around 25, 26 feet is more accurate. That snake was killed in 1919. They believe the skin and stuff was stretched to make it seem longer than what it was. But it is reasonable that reticulated pythons in zoos and human care, because they can basically get unlimited access to food. Animals tend to get bigger in human care than they do in their wild environment. It's a little bit more cushy when everyone's kind of feeding you and taking care of you. You got free health care. It's awesome that way. But in human care, they tend to get bigger. And it is still regular that you can see reticulated pythons that are well over 20 feet long. Boa constrictors, they're rarely over 10 feet. The other true giant snakes are anacondas, which are the heaviest snakes in the world, with the record for them being 550 pounds, which is a very heavy snake, everybody. That would be about this big around, to put it in perspective, and that snake was about 27 feet. African rock pythons are another one, Burmese pythons, and last but not least, everybody, a snake from Australia and Indonesia called an amethystine python. They're the 5 truly giant snakes in the world. Now, as much as everybody knows that pythons are constrictors and boas are constrictors, most snakes are constrictors. Black rat snakes are constrictors. And when we say a snake is a constrictor, it doesn't mean that they're boas or pythons. That's just how they overpower their prey before they eat it. So about 70% of the types of snakes in the world will grab an animal and wrap around it to overpower it, and then once the animal is dead, they'll swallow it whole. About 25% of the snakes in the world use venom to overpower an animal. Like a rattlesnake will bite an animal, kill it using venom, and then swallow them. And about 5% of the snakes in the world are what we call overpowerers. They will simply grab an animal and eat it alive, which actually, when you think about it, is probably the kind of weirdest way to watch a snake eat. Not everybody wants to see that. And how many people can name one type of snake that's an overpowerer? Just grab something and eats them alive. If you grew up around here, if you've ever seen a garter snake, anybody ever see a garter snake eat a frog? Has anybody ever seen that before? Garter snakes, do not kill them first. They literally just eat them, everybody. So when we say it's a constrictor, we're talking about the way that they will overpower an animal before they swallow it. And snakes that constrict, this is another thing that's super important. Snakes that constrict do not constrict for self-defense. They will not see an animal that they want to fight with, grab it, and wrap around it to protect themselves. They constrict things for one reason, and it's for food, everybody. And they will grab an animal and constrict around it for food. Now make no mistake, if a predator was to grab a snake, if a person was to grab a snake like behind its head and kind of pull it out, a snake is going to try to wrap around anything it can to hold on to something. It doesn't have a hand. It would wrap around that post if I was down there and getting in a fight with the snake and try to hold on to it so it could pull its head away and try to bite to protect itself, everybody. But it's a common misconception that for self-defense, if a snake gets afraid, they're not just going to grab somebody and wrap around them. That is not what they do. They do bite for self-defense, but they really only constrict for food, everybody. This snake right here, I can't remember where this snake came from. I think we got this snake from Montreal. I really should have checked the records on him before we brought him. But most of these snakes right now, we regularly get calls for reticulated pythons, and it's one of the animals. If you come to our nature center, you'll see that we probably have about 16 of them in different habitats right now that you can see, and we have even more off exhibit. So reticulated pythons, as much as they're really cool animals and I love them, the snake I'm holding is probably already, well, I can put her on the ground. It's so hard to see. Like, she might look like might only look like he's about 10 feet long right now, but he is quite a bit long. Oh, and he is semi-arboreal, which means that they love to climb. So that's why, even though if you look and as their staff come around, these snakes will absolutely hang on to you. So when he's off the ground, I'm just going to see about putting him on the ground here. I might have to go off screen, and I believe this stage is 18 feet across. So this will give us a pretty good idea. And even so, his tail is on the other side of the stage. That's over 12 feet right now, and he's bent up. So it's hard to get him to straighten out, but I think it's reasonable that this snake is probably about 14 and a half feet long already. So these guys, unfortunately, we do get a lot of calls for them, and as much as you know, they start really small, it's really just not an animal that people should be buying as pets. The reality is most people do not have room to keep an 18-foot long snake, and as much as you know, we work with these things professionally every day. Would you say a 14, 15, 16-foot long snake could be dangerous? Yes or no? They can be. If you open their habitat and you mistake them for a chicken, they will react. So even working at the zoo, we never go into habitats with these snakes unless there's two people there. We've never had an incident. Still, to this day, we're extremely careful. Let's give these snakes a big round of applause, everybody. Everybody, this is Alex. I'm going to pass this guy down to you. Even Kevin, this is the last animal I have for everybody. Everyone, we really, now he's just hold out. Remember I said they just want to hold on to things. He's now wrapping around my leg, just simply because millions of years of evolution have taught these snakes, if you're going to live in a tree, you better hold on to it. And as much as we can hold them and secure them, their instincts tell them, look, I'm off the ground, I have to hold on to them. Everybody, on behalf of all of our staff, all of our animals, myself, my wife, the wonderful people, the volunteers, I think we should give a big round of applause for Wesley Clover Park and DNA.
Videotron. DNA Live.
DNA Live. Putting this on. Guys, give a big round of applause. We thank them very much, everybody, for helping us. Everybody out there, whether you supported us through our GoFundMe campaign, our donor box campaign, being here and saying we are able to start doing outreach programs again. We can go to schools, daycares. We are doing backyard community events, which is turning out to be quite popular. A few kids in the neighborhood, the families are all comfortable with each other in this time, and I trust everyone's still being extremely careful with COVID-19. It has had a catastrophic effect on businesses, and if we continue to wear our masks, if we continue to be careful, everybody, this is all going to be behind us soon enough. But we are doing these outreach programs, these educational programs. We can still come to you. Our wonderful new nature center, albeit the renovation is not complete, the animals are there. And we are doing tours. You can find information about that online. And if anybody wants to be part of our Zoo Donor Club and be getting discounts, emails, you can go to our donor box campaign, which is set up for monthly donations. And again, everyone, from whether you've come to this event, donated $5 or anything else to our nonprofit, really, I can't thank you enough. It means the world to me to be here today and do these presentations. I did mention if you do have time in the first two rows, the second I get this microphone off, I'm going to go down, and I would just, if I have the opportunity to say hi and thank you, it'd mean the world to me. Everybody, stay safe, thank you, and have a wonderful summer. Thank you very much, everyone.